Good evening, you're watching SG News. I'm Hugh Richards. In the headlines tonight, further arrests following violence in Grimsby, the future of the Tour de Yorkshire, and a monetary appeal for Beverley's Historic Barge Society. And later in tonight's programme, I'll be talking to Liz Bennett about arts in Barton. Before that, Sheila and Peter Coates tell me about their poignant trip to remember lives lost at sea. Humberside police have made 2 further arrests following disorder in Grimsby on Sunday night. 2 men, aged 24 and 27, were arrested this morning on suspicion of a fray. They are in police custody. A 3rd man has been charged with a public order offence and will appear in court in connection with the incident. A thorough investigation is underway following the incident, in which police and fire service staff were subjected to abuse and had debris thrown at them. The East Riding will continue to host a stage start or finish of the Tour de Yorkshire if the council leader gets his way. East Riding Yorkshire Council has 2 years left on their current agreement with Welcome to Yorkshire, organiser of the race, but Stephen Parnaby says they're looking to extend the deal. This is after the 3rd successful staging of the event over the bank holiday weekend.
We know we've got another 2 years of our deal to complete. And we'll look, I would think, at extending that. But largely the organisation part of it is down to the cycling authorities, because they have to work out the routes, where they're starting from, where they're finishing, what climbs they have, and all those sort of things, and what speed races they can have. So a lot of that is down to them and actually how it works. But this year we've got Driffield and Pocklington that haven't been included before. And so, you know, we tried to promote that so that it happened. And they were particularly keen to do Garraby Hill, so that's really worked. So we'll see what other years can bring, but let's hope everybody can get a bit of inclusion.
This Thursday sees local county council elections across Lincolnshire. Polling stations will be open from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Electors will also be voting for councillors at West Lindsey District Council and East Lindsey District Council and the other district councils. A recent review of the electoral arrangements for Lincolnshire County Council decided that 70 councillors should represent 70 single-member electoral divisions. This is a reduction of 7 from the current council. The Mayor of North East Lincolnshire has spent the last 3 days cycling across North East Lincolnshire. The Mayor's charity challenge over the bank holiday weekend saw Christina McGilligan-Fell pedal her way across the villages and towns of North East Lincolnshire in an effort to raise funds for the young people's employment charity Cat Zero and NID Diabetes. Throughout her travels, she took on a variety of challenges, including a squash challenge in Bargate and a rescue swimming challenge at Immingham Swimming Pool. She also had to drink a pint of Guinness, which she found less challenging. Councillor McGilligan-Fell says she's overwhelmed by the outcome of the challenge.
I'm absolutely heartened and very emotional for what has been a terrific 3 days, and just showing what the communities do of North East Lincolnshire. I applaud you all. I take my hat off and I say thank you from my heart, blessings to all. And it's great to even have the Muslims here from Scunthorpe giving their contribution. We've outreached to Scunthorpe. We've just seen the children who have designed the plaque from Pakistan on the holiday. They've brought it home, they've seen it, they've heard about it. They've got the software in Pakistan, they've brought it here today. They're delighted. It really has been a family community affair that is there for everybody, and it just shows civic life is very important. May it continue, and I am amazed at the success of it.
The Deep in Hull has a new chief executive. Katie Duke has been appointed to take over the reins from Colin Brown following his retirement earlier this month. She was formerly the centre's curator. Ms. Duke says she's absolutely delighted to be taking on the role. A man has sustained a broken nose and facial injuries after being assaulted in Cleethorpes. He was assaulted at 4 o'clock this morning. The 33-year-old victim was walking home following a night out. He was approached by 2 men who asked for his mobile phone. He refused and was then assaulted, knocked to the floor and kicked and punched. The 2 offenders then took the victim's white iPhone 5 and fled the area. An unknown man came to his aid. A local bus company has launched a brand new app. The East Yorkshire Motor Services Buses app allows travellers to buy tickets, plan journeys and track buses direct from their smartphone. Claire Robinson, the company's marketing manager, says it's designed to revolutionise travel for commuters across the region.
We launched the app a couple of weeks ago and we've already had thousands of downloads and loads of people have bought tickets already, and we've had lots of good feedback, so people are definitely enjoying it. There's loads of benefits for customers. You can buy your ticket using your credit or debit card, so you don't need to save up your change on the bus. You can find out when your bus is arriving, so you don't need to leave the house till the last minute in the morning, which means extra time in bed, which is always good. And you can easily plan journeys and you've got all your bus information in your pocket.
Beverley's Historic Barge Society is looking for funding to attract disabled visitors on board. So far, the Beverley Barge Preservation Society has raised £1,500 toward their £4,000 target to have a disabled ramp installed on a boat called the Sun. Brian Holmes explains how the ramp will help the disabled community.
One of the problems we have is catering for people who are disabled, people in wheelchairs and so on. So what we're planning to do is to get a lift on our boat Sun, and that lift will allow us to take wheelchair people as well. We do a lot of work with Millers, the daycare centres, and they are very supportive of us. So a lot of what we do will benefit them as well. They'll see a different East Yorkshire. They'll see everything from a different angle. They'll see it from the river, in fact, rather than from on shore and by the road. And you chug along at about 2 or 3 miles an hour and you really see what you see.
Now the Arfon, staying with a maritime theme, the Arfon, a trawler commandeered by the Royal Navy and the Royal Navy, blew up and sank off the coast of Dorset in 1917. The wreck was discovered back in 2014, and this weekend 3 descendants of the crew paid a poignant visit to Dorset to remember those lost in the disaster. And I'm joined now by one of them, Sheila Coates, and her husband Peter, to tell me more about it. Welcome both of you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Now, Sheila, what happened to the Arfon?
Well, it was minesweeping with another trawler, and they'd cleared one lot of mines, and they were given the clear to go out again, and it hit a mine and blew up.
And this is unusually for this programme. This is not a trawler based in Hull or Grimsby originally.
No, it had a Hull and Grimsby men on board. 10 of the crew lost their lives, including my great-grandfather. He was James Alfred Doy, and he was the cook. And the men in the bridge also died because they think as it blew up, the big gun went through the bridge and killed the men there. My great-grandfather died because the men couldn't wear life jackets if they had to go through a door because it was too big to go through the door. And he was known to come out on the deck. A chap before him had got a ring rather than a life jacket and jumped overboard, and they knew that he got caught in the propeller. Ooh. My grandfather got a ring and jumped overboard and was never seen again. So we don't know whether he got caught in the propeller or what.
And well, and if there's an explosion going on, presumably fire as well, I mean the risk of the drowning's the last thing that's going to get you.
And of course the men in the engine room didn't have a chance because they were under the waterline.
Very brave men, but a long time ago, and I think it's great-great-grandfather,
yes.
If you forgive my correcting.
Yes.
I don't want you to seem older than you are. Peter, how did you commemorate this last weekend?
We went down to
Swansea.
Swanage.
Sorry.
And there was a ceremony. We were going to sail out and put the
wreath.
The wreath.
Poppy wreath.
Yeah.
But the sea was too high. It was bad. It was blowing a gale. So we had a little talk about things, and they had a little plaque that they had on the wall, and we took we took one wreath, but other people took, and they put them down.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed, and of course, there's you can't just chuck plastic flowers
no.
into the sea and things like that.
No,
so
because
there's an alternative commemoration.
We took the
Thank you. Yes,
wreath,
it's very, very.
And in the middle of
fine.
it, we put a picture of great granddad. So
yes,
that they would
right.
know.
I'll hold it up, Sheila. There we are.
And the other people, they'd got a wreath for the Royal Naval Reserve. I couldn't get one, so that's why we personalised ours. Another lady, I think from Lincolnshire, she'd managed to get some of these. These are what you get at Palm Sunday.
Oh, yes.
And her rector had been born in Swanage. So what they did, they took one of these for every man on board and put the name on. And then the Swanage crew who had found the wreck are going to take them out and lay them on the wreck because these are biodegradable, is that?
Biodegradable.
Whereas these aren't. So these was laid with the plaque. The plaque had been supplied by Historic England and it was opened by the Maritime Archaeological Trust who are looking after the wreck.
Now, your ancestor, James Doy,
Yes.
of the Royal Navy, had a rather indomitable wife.
Oh, he did. When he first came to Hull, he was born in Lowestoft and they had 4 children in Lowestoft. And he came to Hull, well, he came to Grimsby actually, for work on the ships, leaving his pregnant wife behind. And she set off when the baby was born with a pram, with a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old and a baby in the pram. And they slept in hedges and everything.
And they walked
and
from
they
Lowestoft
and
to join her husband.
Yeah, and the 2 little ones would take turns to sit on the pram.
You have a fascinating and indomitable family, Sheila.
She got to Grimsby.
I'm going to have to stop,
Yeah.
Peter.
Okay.
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. Thank
Yeah.
you both for coming in.
Thank
And
you.
join me after the break. Dan will bring us a roundup of all the latest sports action, and I'll be talking to Liz Bennett about the arts in Barton. Welcome back. You're watching SG News. Still to come tonight, Dan brings us a roundup of all the latest sports news, and I'll be talking to Liz Bennett about Barton's Art Festival. Taxis across East Yorkshire are the first in the Humber region to adopt a distinctive white and green colour scheme to improve public safety. The pilot scheme will see white taxis adorned with green markings and displaying a Yorkshire rose, making them easily identifiable. It's expected that by the end of 2019, all 136 hackney carriages within the East Riding will have the new livery in place. The project, implemented by East Yorkshire Council, aims to improve identification and enhance security and safety. St Hugh's Community Centre in Grimsby is on the hunt for china crockery. The call for tea-themed porcelain comes as part of the building is to be transformed into a vintage tea room. The decision to include china crockery at the venue was made by a meeting of the community which agreed that the crockery would be more attractive and add to the ambience of the venue instead of using plain white crockery. Sandra Mason, manager of St Hugh's Centre, explains more.
We're opening a community cafe shortly, and after a consultation day with our community, most people that came said what they would like to really see is proper china. It doesn't have to be bone china, but just the old-fashioned type of pretty cups and saucers. Gone are the days when we had the white sterile cups and mugs. People seem to want the whole ambience today, so we're on the hunt for nice china. It doesn't have to be bone china, but just something pretty, because it's nice to drink out of something that's actually attractive. It's not just about, having a cup of coffee anymore or having a piece of cake. People like the full ambience of a nice place to sit and drink something in, and it's not just about coming in, into a building and having a drink and something to eat. It's all about, the ambience of the place as well, and I think the crockery does add to that immensely. It's going to be very vintagey. The actual the layout and the design of the kitchen itself will be like a natural type wood, which will have a bit of stain on it. There'll be lots of bunting around, pretty things on the wall, really proper vintagey 40s, 50s style, and so it'd be nice to have the china to go with that. They can give us a ring here at St Hugh's Centre on 231507, or pop in to see us. We're only on Haycroft Street in Grimsby, which is quite central to town. If they've got something that they want us to pick up, we can collect. That's not a problem. We've got plenty of drivers that are willing to collect things. So if you've got just anything you're not sure about, just give us a ring, and I'm sure we'll be glad to take it off your hands.
This year marks the 20th anniversary of the Barton Arts Festival. It's to be staged across 11 days And to tell me more, I'm joined now by Liz Bennett from the Rope Walk in Barton. Liz, thank you very much for coming in. When is it?
It starts on the 22nd of June, and so over the period of the festival we've got 18 events at 7 different venues, across 7 different venues.
Can you remember all the venues? But just let people know where they should go.
Well, the Rope Walk, obviously I've got a vested interest in that one, but
Indeed.
also at Wilderspin School, the Joseph Wright Hall, the St Mary's Church,
Corn Exchange,
yes, and also
St Mary's Church,
Trinity Church as well.
That's it. Okay, well done. Thank you very much. People can get tickets by
from the Barton Arts website, and also they're available from the Rope Walk.
That is the logistics sorted out. Who have you got turning up? What can we expect to see?
Well, I suppose the main draw is going to be Claire Teal, the internationally known jazz singer, who's doing a whole evening of Doris Day songs.
Doris Day?
Yes,
really?
Absolutely, yeah. So Claire's really likes the big band sound, and also that sort of period of jazz as well. So it's very gentle, and Doris Day just fits into that. And she actually went and met her before she put the show together. So she's coming with a trio of superb musicians, and I think that'll be a great night.
Well, que sera, sera.
Absolutely.
Doris Day, of course, still with us at the age of 90-something or other, I think.
Yes, I think she found out she was 95 this year when she thought she was 93, didn't she?
A few years added.
Yeah.
One more for the music before we go on to some of the other acts, if that's the right word, the artistes.
We've also got the Danburys, who are an Americano act from Nashville, who specialise in very close harmonies, beautiful voices.
I'm not familiar. Americana.
Americana.
I know it is a cocktail. I don't know it is a genre of music.
Well, I suppose, yes, it's basically any American acts that come over, usually close harmonies, that travel around this country.
I think we have a few more. Well, we've got a drama going on.
Burton. Roddery Mills is doing a performance about the early years of Richard Burton, and that's proving very popular. A lot of tickets have sold for that already, and I think it's just that sort of getting to know a bit more about the life of the man that a lot of people have enjoyed watching on screen over the years.
My father almost got into a fight with Burton when he was with Taylor in a bar in Paris once.
Well, that's one for the family album,
isn't it? We wound up having
it?
a drink together, and Dad was always complaining that he never got the chance to take Elizabeth Taylor back to the hotel. There are a few more names that we recognise here. Phil Hammond is a face and a name that we recognise because he's a bit more often on television.
He is. Dr. Phil is a broadcaster. He's still a practising GP and a private eye journalist. So he's doing a show over 90 minutes that tells us how we could put the NHS right. I think that would be quite interesting.
Well, I think if somebody knows, they should probably tell us.
Yes. So he's doing that tour around the country. He won awards in Edinburgh last year, and he's even insisted that we give a discount to people that who work for the NHS.
Oh.
So if you, a nurse or a doctor and you want to come and see it, then you do get a discount on your tickets.
He's very funny, isn't he?
He is, yes, hilarious.
He's very good. And there's poetry as well.
Yes, we've got John Hegley visiting us, who's a very unusual poet, and it's a family-friendly show. He does get young and old alike up on their feet, tapping their spectacles, reciting silly poems. It's a really fun evening.
Well, he's been going for ages and ages.
He has.
And he's quite often on television, very often on the radio. And he mentioned spectacles there because that's a subject close to his heart.
It is. He's a spectacle wearer and very proud of it. He has a whole poem about, you should have your spectacles in the proper place. You should wear your spectacles on your face. Don't hide them. Don't be ashamed of them. So he's a great ambassador for the spectacle.
Well, I know that he also campaigns to have old spectacles sent off to Africa.
He does. Yes.
They can have a second life. Arts, more seriously, more earnestly, what can we expect to see on the walls?
Well, we've always got exhibitions on at the Rope Walk, so we've got several exhibitions on there, and also a local arts group are putting paintings on the railings outside Wilderspin School Museum for one of the Saturdays. That'll be very interesting to see what local people have been producing.
Best sort of public art, yeah.
Absolutely. And we've also got spoken word in that we've got an author, Louise Beach, in conversation with Sue Wilsey, and a lecture on early American jazz.
Okay, splendid. Anything special about the fact that it's the 20th year? You do big parties? You're all going to go and
I don't think so.
Jubilee?
It usually exhausts us putting it on. We're for a small band of volunteers that put the festival together, and it is enough to do that. I think we're out every night.
And you've been involved with it for ages, for years and years.
I was started it 20 years ago with a group of friends.
Liz,
yeah.
Congratulations. I'm sure it'll be a great success. It always is. Thank you very much for coming in.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Now here's Dan with all the sports news.
Hull City boss Marco Silva has been full of praise for the club's travelling supporters. He says it felt like they were on the pitch with them during the Tigers' 0-0 away draw at Southampton at the weekend. They conceded a 90th minute penalty, but Eldin Jakubovic saved the resulting spot kick to earn them a point on the south coast. And the City boss says the support was fantastic. Meanwhile, Polish winger Kamil Kruszycki has been nominated for the PFA Fans Player of the Month award for April. He's up against Tottenham duo Christian Eriksen and Dele Alli, as well as Roberto Firmino of Liverpool, Chelsea's Eden Hazard and Crystal Palace striker Christian Benteke. Scunthorpe United youngster Leslie Saki has penned his first professional contract today. The centre-half, who can also play as a striker, has signed a one-year contract at Glanford Park. The club also have the option to extend it at any time by a further 12 months. Grimsby Town are hosting their annual Player of the Season Awards dinner tonight. It's taking part at Cleethorpes Beachcomber venue at 7 o'clock, and we'll bring you all the winners in tomorrow's show. Gareth Hewer has been named as the referee for Hull FC's trip to Widnes on Sunday. The Black and Whites head across the Pennines on the back of a 34-10 win over Warrington last time out. They're now up to second place in Super League. And finally, some local cricket scores from the weekend. Appleby Frodingham continue their fine start to the season with a convincing 120-run win over Sheffield and Phoenix United. Cleethorpes, meanwhile, were washed away by Sheffield Collegiate at Chichester Road after being all out for just 62. And on the North Bank, there were defeats for both Hull and Driffield. The latter finished 190 for 9 in response to Scarborough's 248 for 7, while Hull suffered defeat to Clifton Alliance. And that's all for the sport.
Thank you, Dan. That's it for tonight. Don't forget the Barton Arts Festival running from June the 22nd to July the 2nd at various venues in the town. My thanks to Liz Bennett. Well done me for not mentioning Pride and Prejudice. Details are appearing below me. If you have a news story, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages, email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 01472 31553, or you can write to us at Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Laceby Road, Grimsby, North East Lincolnshire, DN345BQ. Until tomorrow, from all of us here, good evening. Good evening, you're watching SG News. I'm Hugh Richards. In the headlines tonight, a vulnerable man is attacked in Hull, a pub in the hands of the community in Lincolnshire, and familiar faces on wheels in Hull. And later in tonight's programme, I'll be in sparkling company with Zaza Warren, telling me about a nocturnal walk by the coast. And before that, Nikki Jarvis tells me about more walking in the great Lincolnshire Wolds. Police are appealing for witnesses after a vulnerable man was attacked in Hull. The incident happened on Orchard Park Road at around 8 o'clock last Friday evening when the 44-year-old disabled victim was pushed against a wall by a teenage boy. He fell off his purple Raleigh bike and it was taken, only to be recovered a short time later. A blue Adidas bag with orange writing containing £10 was missing. Anyone with information is asked to call the Humberside Police on 101. Brocklesby Hunt Pub is now a step closer to being owned and used by the Goxhill community. Residents of Goxhill have formed the Friends of the Brock group to save the pub from demolition and are offering people the chance to invest on a community share offer to increase the pub's role as a community asset. Keegar Homes are constructing several new homes on the site where the pub stands and offered the Goxhill community 12 months to purchase the pub. Now, however, the community is calling on North Lincolnshire Council to buy the pub so that the Friends of the Brock can buy it back, securing it from Keegar Homes. After meeting with the council yesterday, the Friends of the Brock will know within 5 working days if the council will buy the property. Anne Lawty, chair of Friends of the Brock, explains how it's a vital asset for locals.
We've been in negotiations with the developer about buying this for the community. And we've reached a complete impasse in negotiations, and the only way that North Lincolnshire Council's wishes for this to be a community-owned pub are now going to come about is if they use their compulsory purchase powers and then they sell the pub to the community. We're not asking for the ratepayers to buy this village a pub. We will buy it back from North Lincolnshire Council if they compulsorily purchase it. We're looking to make it a community-owned pub, which means it's basically a cooperatively owned pub. We've got 130 plus residents who've so far contributed over £100,000 to put into the pot to buy this. The reason cooperatives work so well is that they become more than a pub. They become a real social hub for the village, and they've been shown to be a really successful business model as well. Whereas we know a lot of pubs that are still in the hands of pub ownership chains are struggling. We had a market research survey that over 200 villages contributed to. So we're very confident that our business model is based on what the village wants. And that would see a pub-type restaurant, very much a family-friendly pub, catering for all ages. We've been asked if we could do like pensioners' lunches, and village organisations would like to have things like their prize-giving dinners there, so that sort of thing. So it'd be very much at the heart of the community.
95 of the area's most famous landmarks and people are now being honoured on KCOM's fleet of vans. The company polled people to name the vans after famous Hallensians or those who have contributed significantly to life in the city or its most recognisable landmarks. Some of the most obvious names include the anti-slavery campaigner William Wilberforce and the Hull Truck Theatre.
We've got 95 KCOM vans out on the streets of Hull and East Yorkshire, and they've all been named through nominations from members of the public. A whole range of names from historical figures like William Wilberforce to modern day sporting heroes like Dean Windass and Nicky Barmby, as well as sort of local celebrities who are more famous in the national space, so Reece Shearsmith from League of Gentlemen. So yeah, a full range of people who've kind of left a mark on Hull and who make Hull. We had hundreds of people nominating, and luckily we had a few people who didn't quite make the cut, but most people got their nominations put onto a van. So we're really delighted to be able to do that.
Friends of a Hull mother are becoming increasingly concerned after she disappeared over a week ago. 49-year-old Renata Antchak of Kingswood has not been seen since she failed to return home last Wednesday. Friends and family say it's out of character for her not to be in touch, particularly as she has 2 daughters. She was last seen wearing a purple T-shirt and blue trousers. Polling stations will be open from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. tomorrow as county council elections take place across Lincolnshire. And to clarify, district councils have no elections this year. A recent review of the electoral arrangements for Lincolnshire County Council decided that 70 councillors should represent 70 single-member electoral divisions. This is a reduction of 7 from the current council. East Riding Council has submitted a planning application as part of its proposals to extend and develop Southcliffe Caravan Park in Bridlington. The council wants to expand the park onto the adjacent agricultural land of the Wilsthorpe estate. It would create up to 200 new pitches and 19 additional lodges. If given the go-ahead, work is expected to start on the site in the autumn and to be complete by 2019. A musical about Hull's most famous aviatrix, Amy Johnson, is flying onto the stage tonight. It coincides with the 87th anniversary of Johnson's solo flight to Australia in 1930. The musical, titled Amy, is an adaptation of an original production created in 1975 by Richard Green. It led to the creation of the Northern Theatre Company. Mr. Green tells us how he came to create the piece.
In the 60s, I was busy writing musicals, and I kept sending them to London, and I kept getting the rejects. And then about early 1970s, I got a call from an agent in London. It was called Mark Berlin, and it was London Management. And I went up to see him, and he said, "Look, Mr. Green, there's nothing wrong with your scripts, but to really get it on, you've got to stage it yourself, and then you'll get people to come and see it." So I went home, I thought, well, it's okay, I'm saying stage it myself, but I haven't got the money to stage a musical like that. I need a star, somebody from Coronation Street or something. And I thought, well, the only star I've got is Amy Johnson. She's well known. She'll draw an audience. So I got with a friend called Ian Butler, and we started writing the musical, which took us a couple of years. And then in 1975, I formed my own company and put the musical on.
And that was Richard Green speaking here on Estuary News some months ago. The play will be performed at Hull's Guildhall tonight at 7:30. Further performances at Sowerby Hall tomorrow and the Park Street Arts Centre on Friday and Sunday, all at 7:30. Now, this year marks the 13th Lincolnshire Wolds Walking Festival, and I'm joined now by Nikki Jarvis to tell me what's in store. Nikki, welcome. Thank you very much for coming in, as always.
My pleasure.
It's always about this time of year we come and have this conversation, don't we?
Absolutely.
Where is an impossible question to ask for a walk, I suppose, but when is the festival?
The festival launches on Saturday the 20th of May and has 16 days of fun and frolics and walking in the wolds, and finishes on Sunday the 4th of June.
And how many walks have you got?
103 this year.
Remarkable. And these walks tend to be led by people who know the way, one hopes, but also people who can tell their companions on the walk a little bit about the history, a little bit about the nature, various aspects of the landscape they're walking through.
Yes, the absolutely best thing about the festival is that people just pitch up at the start point, and then somebody who knows exactly where they're going takes you on a journey, and you can just rely on them and their back markers to know to take control, and you can just enjoy the landscape, quite often learn a bit about the local history or landscape and geology, so forth, and get some good exercise along the way.
You mentioned the back markers. You've never lost anyone yet?
I don't believe so. No, we haven't.
In 13 years. That's an awful lot of walks. I'm just going to try to pick out a few highlights. There's a couple of especially designed for children.
Yes, we're really keen to get young people involved in walking. Children need to be active, but it's hard to get them actually doing, going on walks. It's seen as being a bit boring. So, for instance, we're working with Rhubarb Theatre Company to put on some story walks, something called The Kiss That Missed at Snipedale's Country Park.
The Kiss That Missed? That's rather sad.
It works out fine in the end.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that's a sort of a child size. That's for little children.
Yes, it's free for everybody, and it's aimed at young people, little children, and you need to book in advance. But it'll be a great morning or afternoon out. To be great fun.
We should talk about booking if people want to come along these walks. How do they get in touch?
Well, a lot of the walks you can just turn up, but the best thing to do is to take a look at our website, and it gives you all the information you need to know about which walks you need to book, where you need to be. And also we have some charges this year, so for the walks where they cost something, it also lets you know. Okay,
we'll come on to that in a minute, but the website is www.woldswalkingfestival, all one word, .co.uk. Yes, those charges, that's you're raising a little bit of money for charities.
Well, we're raising a little bit of money for ourselves too, has to be said.
You have to run yourselves, yeah.
In order to keep the festival running, we've introduced charging for the first time, but we're really keen to support walk leaders' local good causes as well. So we're sharing the proceeds from either donations or from walk charges. So we go 50-50, so everybody benefits. I
know one of the walks raising a bit of money for St Andrew's Hospice in Grimsby, who I'll be talking to just after the break.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a nice synchronicity there. I'm very keen on using public transport. Walking strikes me as enormously athletic activity. There are walks designed for everybody here.
There are. I have to say there are some public transport walks too, so that people don't even have to use their cars to get to the start point.
Oh, that's clever.
Which is not many, because it's always a challenge, but we do have those. But yes, we also recognise that actually being in the great outdoors is good for everybody, and it lifts the spirits, and it's really tough if your knees have gone or if for some reason you find walking difficult. So we're also promoting walks where they're suitable for mobility vehicles, and we've got one called the Terrain Hopper Tryout, where people can have a go with a proper, suitable for sort of all-terrain wheelie vehicle, and they can come and have a go at doing that.
Nikki, thank you very much. Sounds absolutely fascinating. I'm not really that. I love walking. It's absolutely fantastic. Just only if there's a pub at the end of it.
Always good.
That's the best thing. Nikki, thanks so much for coming in. Join me after the break. Luke will bring us a roundup of all the latest sporting action, and I'll be talking to Zaza Warren about more walking, sparkling during the night. Welcome back, you're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, Luke brings us a roundup of all the latest sporting action, and I'll be talking to Zaza Warren about nocturnal walking by the coast. Parts of the A18 in northeast Lincolnshire will be closed from Monday. Sections of the road between the A46 Laceby Road junction and the county boundary near Ludborough will be closed for general maintenance and highway improvements. The roads will be closed between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m, work to be completed by Friday the 19th of May. Grimsby now has its own community shop. The shop, one of only 4 of its type in the country, sells surplus supermarket food at a price affordable to people with a low income. It's on the Nunsthorpe estate. Fred McNamara has more.
The aptly named community shop is now open in Grimsby Centre 4 Hub. The shop sells excess supermarket stock to financially disadvantaged families at low costs.
This is the 4th of our chain of social supermarkets in the UK, so thankfully we've made the mistakes in the past, we've got things right, we've learnt lots of great lessons, and so we knew a lot about what we were doing, drawing on the experience of Company Shop that had the vision to build this store, and also of all of our experience across the UK. But I guess the thing that makes Community Shop work is not just the fantastic building team and the merchandise and all that kind of stuff. It's about a great, vibrant community that wants to use this opportunity as a springboard to be a hand up and not a hand out.
We've had quite a lot of people that's really overwhelmed when they come to the till and they say, oh, I've only got £20 to spend, and then we end up giving them £12 change. And they're like, oh my God, I've got stuff to spend on, or you can treat yourselves. I mean, I know from myself of struggling through not having much money, so when you see people coming in and you try to help them spend the money as wisely as they can, and the bargains that we've got in here, they're overwhelmed by it. So. It's been a great process. We've had nothing but support and collaboration from the community here in Grimsby, and it's been really the kind of symbol of that collaborative partnership of major UK funders giving start-up funding, of the local industry getting on board with donated products, with the local council grabbing the vision for food access in this area, and with local community partners welcoming us, and then of course most importantly at all, our members, the people who have flooded in through the doors since we opened last week, and embrace not only the offer of food, but the opportunity to get to know each other and build confident relationships and fantastic community here.
Only one of 4 of its kind across the country, Community Shop brings social mobility back into a supermarket environment. From McNamara, Estuary News.
And I'm joined now by Zaza Warren of St Andrew's Hospice to tell me about a sparkling walk through the night.
Indeed, yes.
It sounds a bit sort of Hammer House of Horror, doesn't it? A sparkling walk through the night.
No, it's good. It's all good.
When is this walk happening?
So the walk itself is on the 30th of June, and we are walking from the Beachcomber this year. So change of venue yet again.
This is in Cleethorpes.
It is, yes.
So from the Beachcomber to...
Yeah. We walk a 5 and a 10 mile route. So we all set off together. and we walk for about 2.5 miles, and then the groups will split. So the 5 milers will do a shorter route through Cleethorpes and back, and the 10 milers will carry on through Cleethorpes and round and back to the beach.
There's a very happy walking theme to this evening's programme here.
Yes, very much so.
This is all to raise money for St Andrew's Hospice, of course.
Yes.
How much are you hoping to raise?
Between about £25,000 and £50,000. Yes, so we're hoping for about 500-600 ladies to be taking part in the event. So yeah.
Well, that's so, and they're going to be required to be sponsored in order to raise money.
Yeah.
How do they do that?
So when you register, if you have walked before, because this is an annual walk that we do, the registration's £10 for our returning walkers and £15 for ladies who's never took part before. This year we have our launch party, so this is a big change for us. We've never had a launch party before, but it's our way of saying thank you to the ladies, because like you say, they are creating the money, they are going out and getting the sponsorship. So it's us saying thank you so much for supporting us on a regular basis, coming back year after year to walk through the dead of night and to raise money for the hospice. So that's why we've got our launch party this year.
And registration through the usual St Andrews website?
Yes, easiest way is through the website. You can register online. Once you've been registered, we'll send you out your t-shirt, we will send you your sponsorship forms and the link to our Everyday Hero, which is our online giving page, so people can sponsor online as well. And then at the launch party, there'll be an opportunity you can sparkle up your t-shirts and such.
Yeah, I was going to ask about this sparkle. This is a bit of a novelty this year, is it?
It is. We started with the sparkle last year as a bit of a tester to see what it was all about, really. And we've decided, actually, who does not love to have a good sparkle?
Well, nobody, Zaza.
Exactly, everybody loves to sparkle. So we've really kind of thrown ourselves into it this year. So it is our Sparkle Midnight Walk, and we have flashing bunny ears for all of our ladies, which will be available at the launch party as well.
It will be like some sort of artificial sun shining through the night in Cleethorpes that
night, a very early maybe Christmas tree sparkling away through the street.
I'm sure you told me, but I don't remember. What time did the walk start?
So the walk itself starts at midnight, but the event on the 30th of June will start from 7 p.m. So it's very much a kind of welcoming party.
So you can turn up for the party, but you don't have to do the...
Yeah, well, we hope you do the walk. So you can turn up, have kind of the party atmosphere, meet your friends. We've got the warm-up as well, and then the actual walk itself starts at midnight.
Why in the middle of the night?
Why not? To be honest with you, it's something that's been going for quite a few years now. I've not been in with the hospice that long myself. I've only been there a couple of years, but it's an amazing event that's just different. You know, it's empowering women to go out in the middle of the night and let's all walk together. And it's a fantastic event. It is just for ladies, but we do welcome men to marshal and support the event in other ways.
Well, we know our place, but why just for ladies?
It's something that was decided when the event first started, so we're going back now 15 years ago now. All hospices do kind of the Sparkle Walk. It's our signature hospice event, and it's an opportunity really for ladies to do something together. It's an empowering event for them. It's just for us women to go out and spend time and raise money together, really. So.
Fair enough, brilliant. But chaps are to come and help serve the drinks.
Yes,
and
yes.
But absolutely not give instructions.
No.
What are you raising money for? What's St Andrews going to use it?
So it's going direct to the hospice. We are a charity. It costs £4.1 million to run the hospice every year, and the majority of that money comes through fundraising. So it will pay for our nurses to be able to provide the care that we do. It will. We've just opened 3 new bedrooms on the 1st of April, so it will be making sure that they're available and accessible to all the patients that need them within our area. So it's making sure that that care, that support, that ongoing commitment that we give to our community is going to be there for years to come.
And of course, it's worth bearing in mind that it's the only hospice that looks after children for miles and miles around.
We cover the whole of Lincolnshire, North East Lincolnshire, Hull and East Riding for the children's side.
Date, just remind me, date of the walk?
It's the 30th of June, but don't forget the Strictly before.
Right.
13th of May.
OK, right.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Zaza. Here's Luke with all the sports news.
Hull FC's Scott Taylor has been training with England today ahead of their test against Samoa on Saturday. The black and white prop is in the international ranks for the clash, which will take place at the Campbelltown Sports Stadium on the outskirts of Sydney. It kicks off at 10:45 on Saturday morning, British time. Meanwhile, FC will see the return of Liam Watts after his one-game suspension has been completed. He'll definitely be included, according to head coach Lee Radford. Andrew Madeley will take charge of Scunthorpe United's playoff clash with Scunthorpe tomorrow. The clash against Millwall at the Den is the first leg of the two-legged tie for a place at Wembley. He's taken charge of 2 United games already this season. Hull City youngster Daniel Batty has extended his stay at the Cacom Stadium by another 2 years. The 19-year-old midfielder has been a key part of their under-23s this campaign and has now committed to City until 2019. He says his first season as a professional has been a successful one for him. Grimsby Town boss Russell Slade says he has already started planning for next season and has identified the types of players he wants to recruit. Speaking at Tuesday's Player of the Year awards ceremony, the town boss says planning is already underway for 2017-18. And at last night's awards, Danny Andrew picked up a number of trophies, including Player of the Season, while young Everton loanee Callum Dyson was named the Young Player of the Year. That's all for the sport.
Thanks, Luke. That's all for tonight. If you have a story for us, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages, email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 01472315553, or you can write to us at Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Laceby Road, Grimsby, DN345BQ. Until tomorrow, good evening.
Welcome to Estuary TV weather. Thursday will be sunny throughout the day with some cloud with the highest temperature of 11 degrees Celsius. Friday will be sunny throughout the day with high humidity in the morning and a highest temperature of 11 degrees Celsius. Enjoy your day.
Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. I'm Hugh Richards. In the headlines tonight, a local football team is heading to the capital, a knife point robbery in Grimsby and an arts festival in Brigg. And later in tonight's programme, our very own Luke brings us all the latest news from Hull and the City of Culture. And before that, I'll be with Andrew Smith, who tells me about his charity's milestone moment. A taxi driver has been robbed at knife point in Grimsby while waiting for a customer. The driver was sitting in his taxi in Carnarvon Avenue at lunchtime on Tuesday when he was approached by a man and threatened with a knife through an open window. The man, who was white and in his early 20s, took cash and went into Milton Road. He was wearing blue Adidas bottoms with 3 stripes and a black Nike baseball cap. Anyone who knows anything, call 101. The biggest success story locally this football season has been Cleethorpes Town. They've been going fewer than 20 years and they are double and possibly even treble winners this campaign. Having gained promotion to their highest ever level of competition next year and won the Lincolnshire Senior Cup, They're now 3 weeks from a Wembley final. In an all-East Coast affair, they'll take on non-league giants South Shields at the National Stadium for the FA Vase, the FA Cup of semi-professional and amateur football. David Patterson is the club's chairman, and he says they'll head to the capital with just one aim.
We're not going to go there to make the numbers up. Believe you me, these lads are working hard in training leading up to the game, and they're going to be there and they'll be ready to put on a good performance. Hopefully that performance will be strong enough for us to be able to lift the trophy come 3-4 o'clock, whatever time the game will finish. But you know, it'll be hard work. You know, we know South Shields have got some fantastic players. You know, a lot of ex-pros, an ex-international, you know, Julia Archer. But we're not worried about them. You know, we concentrate on our good things and the good players we've got, and that's the way Marcus always works. You know, let them worry about us, not us worry about them.
Around 3,000 tickets have now been sold by the club for the game on May the 21st. Marcus Newell has been the manager of the Owls for the last 4 years and says with the league season already over, the club have had to decide how best to prepare for Wembley, which isn't for another 3 weeks.
We spoke about having friendlies just to keep the rhythm and the fitness, then decided against it from an injury point of view. We thought we'd be kicking ourselves if someone was to get injured. So we kind of decided on a mini pre-season, 3-week pre-season, just to make sure everybody's where we need them to be come the 21st of May. We've just got to make sure that we don't get too excited and get too nervous. We've got to make sure that the boys can perform on the day. Sometimes nerves it's good to have, but it's got to be controlled. I've seen us freeze before. I've also seen them embrace it. So it's maybe, I'm hoping that with them has played as many big games now, that they might be in a better shape for the Wembley. But then this is Wembley, so you just don't know how it's going to affect everybody.
Cleethorpes Town are following in similar footsteps to North Ferriby United, who had their own meteoric rise through the non-league system. They won the FA Trophy, the FA Vase's big brother, in 2015, having spent almost the entirety of their history in regional football. And David Patterson says they're an example for others to follow.
North Ferriby are a yardstick for us. You know, they did a similar thing. They rose very quickly under brilliant guidance, and you know, I'm not sure we'll get to that level in the next few years. It'll probably take a lot longer if we do manage to achieve that. But yeah, you know, we'll go into this game at Wembley as underdogs, but certainly we'll put on a good performance. And you know, like we say, it's 11 v 11, and Wembley's a massive occasion, and it can get to some players. So hopefully it won't get to any of ours, and they'll put on a great performance.
A new reminiscence room has recently opened at Rathside Residential Home in Scorby. The room features a vintage layout. It's designed to help residents of the care home who suffer from dementia and ease them through their days. Pauline Hewitt of Rathside says the residents themselves were vital in the creation of the room.
I think the idea was really about helping our residents here at the home. Some of them obviously are living with dementia. So dementia is something that you can remember things from a long time ago, but maybe not what you've just done. So this reminiscent room we thought of that would revoke some memories and get some people to come up here and sit and chat and talk. Sometimes as well, the person can get a little bit distressed and a little bit upset about life because they don't know what's happening to them, where they are. So we thought about this room because it's a room that's nice and quiet. You can come on a one-to-one basis and you can sit and look through some photograph albums, some pictures, talk about some of the things that they used to do years ago. And I think really that was the main idea, to just help them through their day. That's the main thing. The process really was including the residents because we needed to include them. So we had a few chats with some of them, talking about what they could remember from years ago, some of their photograph albums that we got out. We talked about whether it would be a 1950s, because we had to think about the age range that we've got. So we thought about 1950s. We eventually come up with, after talking to a few of the residents. We talked about some of the decoration with them, you know, what did they used to have? Could they remember some of the things? Even some of the things I could remember from what my mum had years ago, you know, and what I can remember. And it's to help to settle them down, you know, sometimes when they're a little bit unsettled, a little bit upset about life, a little bit upset maybe because they think that they haven't seen their family lately, but maybe their family just came a few hours ago. So it's to help them get through their days.
Today marks the first anniversary of the Hull Homeless Community Project. It was set up as a community project for the homeless and rootless people of Hull. The charity's founder, Andrew Smith, is with me now. Andrew, welcome. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you very
happy
much.
birthday.
Thank you.
Tell me, what prompted you to set up this charity?
An experience myself with homelessness in, 2009 now, so quite a while ago, but yeah, a brief taster of what it might be like for myself, and really I was fortunate enough to get out of the situation quite quickly, and I suppose it was that feeling of those that weren't quite so fortunate to be able to have the help that I did, and it kind of just grew from there, really.
It's a year old now.
Mm-hmm.
How's it been going?
Really well.
Good.
Yeah, no, we've done really, really well. We've got a fabulous team of volunteers. We're up to just over 20 now. So it's people in the community that want to give a little bit of time back, and they want to help other people basically and improve people's lives. So we've just gone from strength to strength, and again, there's not been any real sort of 5-year plan in place or anything. It's just a case of helping people and what's the best way for us to be able to do that, really.
Let's talk a little bit about the problem that you're solving. How many people are there homeless in Hull?
We always sort of look at between 25 and 35 people that currently sleep on the streets, and we talk about Hull city centre with that figure. As you go out into the East Riding and stuff, you can add 5, 10, 15 people here and there. But bed spaces in Hull alone, shelters and hostels and family refuges, you're talking over 1,000 beds. And like you said quite rightly earlier, that's without counting the people that are surfing. So there's a lot of people in our community that need help in some form or another.
And for all those beds, there's shelters, there's refuges, there's always demand.
Always demand. It's a daily occurrence for us to have a phone call from somebody either returning to rough sleeping or new to rough sleeping, found themselves surrounded by homelessness. So it seems to be a constant battle to try and keep up sometimes, but it's worth it.
What's the cause?
We always look at family breakdown as one of the big causes of homelessness. We work a lot with care leavers, so obviously that encompasses family breakdown, and as many people will know, once you lose that small circle of loved ones, the pot of people to pick from that might be able to help you becomes very, very small. So we kind of want to take their place as their family and see what we can do to support them.
Well, what is it that your charity is actually doing? What's your contribution, as it were?
So what we look at initially is rough sleepers. So we have a team of outreach volunteers that will go out onto the streets. They will meet with people that are rough sleeping. We'll try and signpost them to any shelters or hostels.
So that's just give them the information they need.
Yeah, it's a lot of information and awareness, which is key. They always say knowledge is power, and again in this scenario it's exactly the same. But what we have a keen interest is on appropriate support, and we always look at what's appropriate for the individual, and we don't want just to sling anybody in any old shelter. We really work hard to work with people's needs and what's best for them, basically, because we want to stop that revolving door of homelessness, and we want to stop them from ending up coming back out onto the streets again.
There will be people who would like to help in one way or another by a contribution or by volunteering. How should they get in touch?
Well, we're always looking for volunteers, so www.hullhomeless.co.uk is our website, and there's a fabulous green donate button on there that people can press, and there's an email address for people who want to volunteer as well. Just send us an email, we'll get back to you, we'll have a chat and we'll see what we can do.
So after 1 year, how big are you? How many volunteers do you have?
We're just up to nearly 25 now. Everybody's part-time, nobody's paid for the sins. They all give up so much time, it's unbelievable. And yeah, we just, I think because the demand's there and because we give the community the opportunity to do the work as well, they feel like they're making a difference. I think everybody's responding really well to it.
And you said no 5-year plan, it's just a matter of keeping on.
keeping on, and it comes down to helping people and what's the best way to help each other in our community and build some community spirit back up. And yeah, it seems to be working, and here's to another year.
Andrew, congratulations on the anniversary.
Thank you.
Well done. Thanks so much for coming in. Join me after the break. Fred will bring us a roundup of all the latest sports news, and I'll be talking of the City of Culture with our very own finely cultured Luke Adams. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, Fred brings us a roundup of all the latest sports news, and our very own Luke is with me to talk about the City of Culture. A total of 260 midwives helped to deliver more than 5,000 babies in Hull and East Yorkshire during 2016. Lorraine Cooper, who's been a midwife for 21 years, said the work has become far more responsive to the decisions and the choices of the mothers. The Born into a City of Culture project has the footprints of every baby born in the city in 2017 made into a giant work of art. The council's waste management team has been shortlisted for a national award. The team from the East Riding of Yorkshire Council were nominated in the National Recycling Awards. The team's recent pilot scheme led to the average household increasing its food waste recycling by 7%. The scheme, which operated in Bridlington, Market Weighton and Willoughby, will now be spread to other parts of the East Riding. Bridlington's South Beach has been recognised as a national beach volleyball venue. Volleyball England says the beach is suitable as a national hub for Go Spike Beach volleyball. Outdoor courts have been installed near the Princess Mary Promenade and can be used by residents and tourists. 2 more courts will also be installed at Southcliffe Beach near the park and ride, with free coaching sessions planned over the summer. Brig Live Arts will return to the town for another year of music, literature and drama. The festival spans 2 days from Friday the 5th of May. It'll include community shows, local singers, dancers and musicians and drama workshops, many of which are themed around the town's rural history. Roberta Fulford is the chair of Brig Live Arts, and she says the event is a real asset to the town.
It's really about the community and bringing families and people out to see different sorts of musical activities, arts activities, and perhaps encouraging them to spend their leisure time differently. And also it's about perhaps finding new interests and it just increasing enjoyment in the town, because it's a lovely place to live. Brig Live Arts has been around in the town for about 25 years. It had a bit of a quiet period about 10 years ago as I moved into the town. So I decided to get involved, and we got a committee together, and then we've started developing more activities than were going on before, but keeping we've revived the fest, because that was Fiddle Fest years ago. So we're broadening that out into different sorts of music, and then the art exhibitions held every 2 years. And we have rural touring and some films on at the moment, but we're hoping to spread more into workshops and activities.
And I'm joined now by our very own Luke with what's coming up in the City of Culture 2017.
Good evening, Hugh. City of Culture is flying. I can't believe it's Thursday once again. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday, Luke. Yes, we're a third of the way through. It's the fourth month of 12.
Yes, and I think the second City of Culture season, Roots and Roots. Obviously, Roots, R-O-U-T-E-S, and Roots is in Roots from the Tree.
It doesn't work unless it's written down, does it?
Absolutely
it's
not.
Lousy
just to
broadcasting
clarify. So looking ahead slightly, the 16th of September, I'd say, is quite a significant day for the Hull 2017 story, because that's when the Hull New Theatre reopens.
Excellent.
After a £16 million refurbishment programme.
Well, that's quite a chunk of change, isn't
Absolutely. I've noticed from the outside of the theatre that it has been transformed into a lovely state of blue paint. Before it was like cream and pink. So you can see it visually from the outside that there has been some work.
The scaffolding's all down now.
Yes, that's right. But it'll be great to see what's actually, the end result inside the theatre.
And what are they performing there? What's their first performance?
Well, the Royal Ballet will open the venue with a production called Opening the New.
Specifically for the theatre?
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Absolutely. And that's going to be directed by Hull-born director Kevin O'Hare.
Splendid.
Absolutely.
Okay. Are you a fan of ballet?
I am actually. Yes, ballet and opera. Yes, I'll make sure I try and go along to that.
I've only ever been to one ballet, and I was surprised by all the bouncing feet hitting the...
Yes, and how elegant ballet looks as well on the stage.
It does.
Absolutely.
Okay.
John Godber is also going to be part of Hull New Theatre's new seasons of productions with a show called Kings of Hull, brand new work by the Hull-born playwright, and that will tell the story of the King family across 3 generations.
We couldn't have a city of culture in Hull without John Godber being a prominent part of it.
Absolutely not.
He's very much a favourite son of Hull.
Yes, and of course from Hull Truck, you know, one door to another.
Absolutely, yes,
Yeah,
of course.
absolutely.
Of course.
Do the
All right.
names Paul Heaton and Jackie Abbots mean anything to you, Hugh?
They mean nothing to me.
Well, you know I'm a big fan of music, and
Of
I'm
course.
delighted to announce that a certain Paul and Jackie...
That would be Paul Heaton and Jackie
That's
Abbott.
correct, yes. Well, they was part of the fantastic Beautiful South.
Oh, of course.
And
okay.
they've now become a duo.
Splendid.
And according to the City of Culture website, Paul and Jackie will perform a very special one-off show at the KCOM Craven Park on Saturday, the 3rd of June.
And
in the evening.
And there's also the sort of heirs of the House Martins, I guess, then as well.
That's correct. You're absolutely right. The House Martins was formed back in 1985 by Paul Heaton, along with Norman Cook, who is now a DJ married to Zoe Ball.
Right.
And then the Beautiful South was formed in 1988. And the House Martins and the Beautiful South together had some fantastic tracks: Happy Hour, Flag Day, 36D, A Little Time, Everybody's Talking. Maybe everybody's talking about Hull because they are a popular group.
Of course they
in
are.
the city.
Absolutely.
And tickets are still available. I did check, but I know a lot of tickets have already sold for the gig.
So that's Saturday the 3rd of June
That's
at
correct.
KCOM Craven Park. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the first headline show they've announced as a duo for 2017.
Excellent.
So it'll feature hits from their 2 studio albums, along with all the old classics, as I've just mentioned.
Brilliant. Okay, look forward to that.
Absolutely. Moving on to photography then, at the Burton Constable Hall until...
the 4th of May.
The 4th of May, which is today. So we have to get there quickly.
Let's move on to the next one then, Luke, shall we?
The train track and the basket. Between 1848 to 1914, more than 2 million people arrived from mainland Europe by ship to the City of Culture, which is Hull. And there's an exhibition running at the Paragon Station until the 29th of June, part of the Look Up programme, which looks at the issue of transmigration.
Because they were coming through Hull, they weren't staying
That's
in
right,
Hull,
yeah,
they
they
weren't
were
staying
briefly
here.
coming
Some
through
of them
Hull.
were staying in the UK, some of them were going off to across the Atlantic.
That's right, yeah.
And this was migrations caused largely by the First World War.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
And apparently the transmigrants carried large woven baskets on their journey through Hull and brought skills such as double cloth weaving.
I have no idea what is double cloth weaving.
Neither have I.
Very well. Well, the
We'll
only
have
way
to-
to find out is to go
is
to
to
this
go to the
exhibition.
exhibition until the 29th of
In fact,
June.
It is fortunate, Luke, that they are laying on this exhibition for us so that we may understand double cloth weaving.
Absolutely.
Where on earth would we be without the whole City of Culture?
Absolutely.
We would be ignorant. Luke, thank you very much.
Pleasure
I'm
as
afraid
always.
that's all
See
the
you
time
next
we have
week.
For now, here's Fred with all the sport.
Scunthorpe United are in East London ahead of their playoff semi-final first leg this evening. The Iron take on Millwall at the New Den as they look to strike the first blow in playoffs. Defender Scott Wiseman is rated as 50-50 for the game, with manager Graham Alexander saying he'll wait to decide on his involvement. It was just last month when the two sides last met. Tonight's hosts won that one 3-1. Hull City boss Marco Silva has confirmed they've got no further injury worry for Saturday's big game against Sunderland. Omar El Abdelawi has returned to training this week after a back injury but isn't yet ready for a return match action. A win could see the Tigers move 5 points clear of the Premier League bottom 3. Grimsby Town boss Russell Slade has been speaking to us today ahead of their final League 2 fixture of the season against table toppers Plymouth Argyle. Slade is wary of the different threats Argyle posed to them on Saturday and said that they will be looking to come to win at Blundell Park so that they can clinch the League 2 title.
They have their own strategies. It'd be interesting what kind of strategy they come with Saturday. I expect them to come and really, plough forward because they've got the promotion under the belt. They've got nothing to lose. But, whatever happens, it's for us to deal with what they throw at us in the right way because, it's about finding a way at the end of the day to win a football match.
Slade also revealed Akwasi Asante has undergone an ankle operation that will hopefully see him return for pre-season. Hull FC prop Scott Taylor has missed out on selection for England's Test match against Samoa on Saturday. The national team have been training in Australia this week ahead of the game, but Taylor hasn't done enough to be picked in Wayne Bennett's 17-man squad. Former Hull KR man Josh Hodgson has again been selected, while Mike McKeenan and Chris McQueen are in line for their debuts in the Pacific Test. Meanwhile, it's been confirmed in the last couple of hours that FC's general manager and former player Motu Tony will leave at the end of the season. He was part of the side that won the Challenge Cup in 2005 and has been in his current role for 3 years. He'll return to New Zealand with his family. And that's all for the sport.
Thanks, Fred. That's it for tonight. If you can tell us anything about double cloth weaving, then please get in touch by visiting our Facebook or Twitter pages, email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 0147231 55553. But for this evening, good evening.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. Plenty of sunny weather Friday, but remaining windy throughout, highs of 15. Saturday less windy, often cloudy, with drizzle possible.